Through Our Lady, through our Lord, we prevail. This is going to be kind of a longer one, but I'm trying to keep them below 20 minutes. This account is not, uh, although it is monetized, it's not for that purpose. It's to help other veterans and to help other people who are targeted. Doesn't matter who you're targeted from. This is taken from not only our experience, but also we listen. We listen to a lot of other stories, a lot. So in this channel, we've talked about a lot of different ways that people are targeted. Various agencies, various groups, various individuals, and their methodologies. Because there's one promise that I made to the Lord is the experience that we've dealt with the past 9 years, that we will use all of my knowledge, all of my training, all of my talents, all of my graduate education, which is significant. Not to sound boastful, but to help others. And that being said, now this video is, I'll try to summarize it because my analytics say my stuff is too long. Not that I'm high priority view, but still, gotta follow the science. But lots going on, targeting, and now it's even including the VA. We've had some very productive, very scientifically focused claims examiners. That's what I want. I don't want anybody to lie for me. I won't lie. Anybody who knows me knows I refuse to do anything unethical. And my confessors, my priest confessors, know that I rip apart my conscience when I go to a confession. I rip it apart. And that being said, I like the claims examiners who are scientific, who listen to the narrative of the patient, who look at the medical history, and who look at the science. That's all they're supposed to do. No politics, no religion, no race baiting, no, assumption about service history or, uh, you know, uh, the political background of an operation or whatever. None of that. Just evidence-based medicine. But I have had a couple recently who, I should say I have one who, I don't know where he's coming from, honestly. I don't begrudge a person who wants to earn a living, especially people who have any kind of disability or they find a niche that they could do, hey, go with it. But protect your disability compensation, whatever it is, as well, because that's given to us because society deems that we have challenges, and so we can fall back on that. And that's the whole purpose of it. And there's a period of time after you are disabled that you got to get better, or not, if not get better, get to a certain point where you can be fully, functional within your challenges and limitations, and start a business or whatever. But again, you got to consider your challenges and your limitations. But anyway, I don't know where this examiner was coming from. He related my neurological issues to Terra. It's the only way Terra, which is burn pits, Agent Orange, herbicides, exposure to sarin gas, exposure, Kuwait, Iraq, everything that's in the sand there. It's interesting to know, even flying over the airspace is considered Terra because there's that much poison in the sand. 300 oil wells burning for 6 months back when I was in high school. I mean, that's significant. And but anyway, the, connecting that kind of neurological issues that I have to Tara, that's. I mean, he didn't even talk to me about it. And that's another thing. I don't like a claims examiner who lies, so I'll be filing a complaint about that. We never even talked about that. If we would have talked about it the way we should have, all he did is tank my claim, which is what Saginaw VA is trying to do anyway. And he didn't talk to me about the real reason. If he would talk to me about the real reasons for the neurological problems, that would have been my nexus automatically. But he got his money, more draining and bleeding of the VA. He got a hookup. But that being said, um, so it was all denied. So now I have to get another provider and get a nexus letter when it's all common sense. If he would have done the DBQ correctly, they would have gotten everything they need. They're trying to mess with my rating. Same reason why my rating increased. They're trying to delay it a month so I don't get paid this month with the rating increase, even though it's effective. Trying to say, oh, the VA pays in arrears. Yes, you're rated as of this date, this month, which was September 3rd, is the effective date. Your pay date says October 1, but actually it's November 30. So they're screwing with us as much as they can. And I blame Saginaw VA. And they're, obviously some of the providers that they're grabbing, they're not scientific at all. This guy I was just at, he didn't even finish the DBQ. Um, I mean, as far as the things he's required to check, it's it's incomplete, and it's incomplete, but yet he still got paid. We were only in there maybe 15 or 20 minutes, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I find it. Why was that DBQ processed and rated before ones that are sitting for over a month? One's serious issues. I'm one step from cancer, one step along the path of GERD. I'm one step. Some of my throat and my stomach has already started to change. It's not into cancer yet, it's into uh, the beginning of pre-cancer. I'm one step from that. And they're just sitting on it. They give me the most difficult time and screw me over for issues that are presumptive. But so, with dealing with that, I don't make as many videos, and also people have been regularly hacking our internet, and we are having tower problems. I think somebody's trying to, damage or vandalize the tower. That's what I think. And somebody hacked our internet, and they deprovisioned our hotspot. So we can only use it when they want. It's either deprovisioning or simulating, one of the two. I don't really care, but because both of them are illegal. But you know, now see the thing is, there's private scumbag companies that have simulators that are working with the police, but they're not investigating crime. They're screwing with people. These are police officers that when you ask for their identification, they refuse. And they will also take 911 calls because they also work with community policing. Again, everybody refuses to give you an ID. which makes me think that they're not police officers at all. But anybody can get a decal and throw it on a vehicle. Uh, I've said before in videos about the guy that was doing this in Michigan. He had his car, his Impala, tripped out to look exactly like a state police car. He had the uniform, although it looked little strange, little queer looking uniform. No pun intended. It just didn't look right. It looked strange, like close to MSP, but then again, kind of like also like weird. Like homemade or something. And I don't know what happened to that guy, but it was over, I think, the west side, northwestern side of the state. I think eventually they got him. But he was pulling people over. There was a lady that thought that he was, kind of flirting with her, crossing boundaries with orders and aggression. So after he let her go, she actually did call somebody. And that's how they got alerted that this guy is not a state trooper. But anyway, so that's nothing new. They do it all the time in Hollywood. You know, cop cars that look so realistic. And being as I used to have a security company, well, I still do, just sitting dormant. I know all about the decals and the magnetic placements, the lights, everything. Even the switchboard inside the vehicle for lights, for takedown lights and stuff, all of that. The uniforms, the body gear, the body cams, the Kevlar vests, which are not real Kevlar, and at least the last police to come to my place, they didn't even have plates in. I mean, it all looks really good. When you see a police officer there with a uniform that is so perfect, it looks like it's brand new. It's a good chance that they may not be a police officer or they haven't been on their own that long. But you're going to see something with a little bit of dirt, a little bit worn. But when they're absolutely perfect, yes. And when somebody's doing community policing and they're all decked out like they're SWAT, they're not SWAT. Combat holsters and stuff like that, come on. Combat holster is exactly that. Combat holster. But um, though, so our targeting is really bad now, and I did some troubleshooting at home and found that some people. This is not the first time. I think in 3 years, this is the third or fourth time I've found people on our network that's not us. We turned off all of our, gadgets that connect to our LAN. In the house, we turned them all off, and I found that somebody was still on there. So, who knows what they're doing on my network? And so we handled the best we could along with our internet service company, but we've been dealing with that as well. So a lot going on, and the targeting, is very bad because the Holy Spirit said that we will leave here soon, but my prompting didn't tell me if it would be as a family or not. But we just trust and obey. Sometimes we can't understand God's plan, and we can't understand why evil triumphs. Sometimes you just can't understand. And then it pushes you to, almost to not an animosity against the Lord, but you just feel that He's walked away, so you don't talk to Him. And you have to try to fight that, because if you don't talk to Him, nothing's going to get better, and you're not going to have that support there. Sometimes He's not silent sometimes He's silent, but not silent, because He's speaking in a way that we haven't seen yet. Sometimes it's just the tiny, not even the small things, the tiny things He's speaking. But that being said, It's obvious that people are trying as hard as they can now to inflict psychological trauma on my daughter, my youngest daughter, and myself. Make us have a nervous breakdown, or or worse, suicidal, or some kind of serious depression or something. The stuff that they're doing. This is the worst organizing that they've done in a while, and I think it's because VA National is looking at my health and saying, okay, yeah, this guy's got some stuff here. VA Local says, no, we can't let that happen because he'll leave. And we want him here as our punching bag. Him and his daughter. We don't care about either one. My neighbors between the place we are now and Country Way, they've reminded us for years nobody gives a crap about us. Nobody cares what happens to us. They expect that someday that they won't hear from my daughter, myself, or my animals, and we'll all be in our apartment dead. And I quote that verbatim. And they've surrounded us with some of the most horrible people that I have ever met in my life. The past 8 years, many of them horrible people, but they masquerade real good. They know how to talk about, talk Christianese. They know how to talk about, racial unity. They know how to talk about real good, political empowerment stuff. It's all a lie. The devil speaks with a forked tongue. He comes as an angel of light. People forget that. Two-mindedness is still an abomination. There's nothing worse than a two-minded person. Double-mindedness. And so that's what we're dealing with. And I tell people, don't move to Buena Vista Township. Don't move to Saginaw. And if you're going to move to the outlying townships, test it with the Holy Spirit. Test your neighborhood. Test that house, um, or that apartment or whatever. Because between the city council, between the county commissioners, between the chief of police in several regions, they don't prosecute evil. And I don't know how the prosecutor's office fits into that, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe they're being acted upon. My daughter's right now is studying about physics, physical science, and the effects of motion and Newton's laws, and sometimes things are acted upon by an outside force and it pushes them in motion, or it can also stop them. So that's the only way I can explain some of this stuff. And the ever never ending supply of money to target us. I know who it is. I know some of the parties. I know some of the businesses or people involved. And this is just an update that things are very aggressive now, and our internet comes and goes. For now we have internet, but people keep knocking my tablet out of Chrome, so that means that somebody is still accessing our hotspot through the tower. So until we leave this place, we'll continue to have problems. And the management of where we live now, they continue to surround us with people who have bad intentions for our family. They continue. I don't care what they say to Becca. I don't care what they say to Hudbash. I mean, Hudbash has never had good intentions for us anyway. All the stuff that's happened to me in their program, you know, bankruptcy, identity theft, and now litigation about those debts that were never repaid. And that's in addition to somebody using my identity now for 8 years. Washington, California, Pennsylvania. Where else was it? like Indiana or Ohio, somebody keeps using my identity and nobody does anything. HUD-VASH doesn't do anything. MDHHS doesn't do anything. MDHHS still ignores my hearing request because they reduced our benefits by over $300. But when I even looked at their very application, for the renewal of our benefits, we're allowed to have $3,000 in cash. And if we make more than 125 a month, this is earned income. It has to be reported. Well, then why did they take away all of our benefits over $340 because of $340 because of my rating by the VA? If we're allowed to have $3,000 cash, why is that? And the 125 a month, is that per house or per person? They refuse to answer these questions. But again, why can somebody have $3,000 in cash, but we can't get disability? Without money being taken away. And then our hearing gets ignored. This is the third time that Saginaw County DHS, Saginaw County MDHHS, has ignored, second or third time, has ignored a hearing request. This is not new. They keep on targeting and hurting my family. And the directors, the workers, the supervisors, everyone refuses to meet me. We've been dealing with this now for 7 years. 7 years. They refuse to meet. Even if they give me a hearing, they refuse to make it in person. They refuse to do a video. A Zoom appeal hearing. It's on the phone. So I don't know who I'm talking to. They continue destabilizing us financially. They continue destabilizing our communications, and nothing's changed. Only now they're trying to sabotage. I haven't heard from Social Security in months. Months. Last time I talked to the guy, they said, "Oh, just stay put. Just stay put and be patient." Nothing's happened. But they're trying to sabotage my VA claim. I'm a veteran. I'm an honorably discharged veteran, regardless of the garbage people have put out there. I'm an honorably discharged veteran, and I served. So whatever rating I get in medical care and compensation, that should also be afforded to my children, which is my right as a rated veteran. Why is that being interfered with? People trying to spread rhetoric that, anything negative, anything, my discharge, my medical status, my children, anything negative. That's what they do when they organize against you and you're targeted. Anything they can, even threatening those who help you.